Big deal. No deal.
Brought to you by Brady Industries, a provider of commercial cleaning supplies and equipment throughout the western United States for over 65 years. Brady Industries Clean Solutions, a tradition for generations. Number one.
Spencer, did you just tell us that Mitch Matthews may or may not be doing something with the Packers coming up soon?
I don't know. Is that where Lambeau Field is?
The Acme Packing Company.
We may or may not be playing Big Deal, No Deal right now, too.
We may or may not be on TV and radio right now.
Number one, Big Deal, No Deal. BYU's bounce-back win against Utah State.
I'll go big deal. BYU needed that. UVU was a shock to the system. I called that the worst loss in the Dave Rose era. It was personal. It was emotional. It was a Marion Center record, 114 and 18 threes. That was nice. This is an in-state game. Right before the game, what did I tell you? Right before the game.
This is a big game, and BYU has to win.
Yeah, it was a bigger game in that moment than I even thought going in. So BYU beat an in-state team. That was important after Utah Valley, another in-state team. And the way they did it, I think, was a bigger deal.
They found a way to win after shooting 4 for 20 from the three-point line and did so by 14 points. BYU was good from the free throw line again. So this is a big deal because of what BYU learned in the process, and Coach Cleveland spoke on that.
President Coach Cleveland.
The leadership that the players displayed after the Utah Valley loss, led by LJ Rose, they are coaching each other now. It's not just coaches to players. They're holding each other accountable, and that will reap some big rewards for BYU moving forward. We saw it against Utah State. Number two.
Big Deal, No Deal. As reported by Jerem Jordan. Well, actually, it was just Dave Rose answering Jerem Jordan's question. Kyle Davis, 50-50 for Saturday's game against USC.
This one's hard. I think it's a big deal. I think Yoli Childs is up for the task, and I think Braden Shaw is proving himself to be a solid bench contributor. Granted, it was kind of one big game, so let's see a little more against a better opponent. But I'll go big deal on this. He was a 12-7 guy last year, 10-5 guy this year. USC is a good team. It's on the road. Big stage, right? Gonzaga and Arizona are going to play. BYU is going to play USC. I'll go big deal on this. He's a big part of this team.
I'm going to say big deal because Kyle Davis is one of two seniors on the current basketball team. I mean, he's been in a lot of situations. He's not going to get rattled very easily. So you mentioned the big stage, Staples Center. Like, you have Braden Shaw and Yoli Childs. Not saying that they will be easily rattled, but when you have a senior, he's played in a bunch of places, and he's played at Gonzaga, Like, he's been playing against good teams. So not having his leadership on the floor is big, but I think if he can't play, he'll take an increased role as a coach player, because that's what Kyle does. That's who he is. Yeah. Number three.
Big Deal, No Deal. BYU nowhere to be found in the latest Joe Lunardi ESPN bracketology update.
I'll go no deal just because it's December 1st. We played this game before, right, with BYU. BYU is very bubblish. It's one of the most bubblish teams in the country. They kind of hang on the bubble. That's where they've been. So I'll go no deal because it's so early. I think BYU can make up a lot of ground here. If BYU beats USC Saturday and then they beat Colorado the next Saturday, they're in, man. Like as of then. That's what I mean by that.
I'm trying to find any reason that this would be a big deal, but it's December 1st.
If they were in, would we say it's a big deal?
No, because it's December 1st.
I'm
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Well,
a lot of people actually do care.
Some people can't not care. What?
Well, no, you bring up a good question. Would we say it's a big deal if BYU were in right now? Probably.
Probably, because the name of the show is BYU Sports Nation on a channel called BYUtv.
So maybe I should give it its fair shake and say that it is a big deal because they're not in, and this is the standard of success, right? If BYU is being discussed as an NCAA tournament team, then they are.
This is the metric whereby
they're succeeding.
You know what's not? Rankings. Who cares if you're in the top 25?
Not in college basketball. It's about are you projected to make the NCAA tournament? That's the new ranking system.
Yes.
That is the de facto
and
ranking
BYU has
system.
4 non-conference opponents in. They've played one of them, Princeton. They have 3 more in.
Yeah. So it's no deal because it's December 1st and there's a lot of basketball left to play.
Sorry, 2. BYU's played 2. They went 1-1. Valpo and Princeton. They still play USC and Colorado.
But it is a big deal because it's the measure of success, right?
Yep.
So yeah, it's that's kind of a fun one.
It's like the independent conference, not a champion,
the mythical championship.
Yeah, the BYU won in football.
Number 4.
Speaking of rankings you may or may not care about, BYU is 290th in the nation in three-point shooting percentage.
This is a big deal to me because BYU 7 games in. I'm still going to wait until I'm going to wait until non-conference to make a declaration about this team as a three-point shooting team. But right now it's not good. 30% ain't no good. BYU's way better than this in reality. Factually, right now, they are not. You are what you are, right? 30%. But I think BYU is going to rebound from this. Pun intended.
BYU is 5-2 despite being one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the country right now. There are 351 Division I college basketball teams. BYU is 290. So
Yeah.
in the bottom
They're 5-2
15%.
because they played Coastal Carolina, Coppin State, Utah Valley, BYU. I can't remember how they shot. But you haven't played this, incredible schedule.
Oh, BYU shot the three-pointer pretty well against Valparaiso and lost.
Yeah.
So I don't know that – I don't think it's that big of a deal right now because they can win without shooting the three-pointer well. We've seen that against Princeton, against Utah State last night.
They would be 7-0.
I know.
If they shot the three.
Well, I don't know.
Normally.
They shot the three at over 40% against Valpo and lost.
You're
it's
right.
about
They'd
defense.
Be 6-1.
It's about defense, right?
Yes. BYU would have beaten Utah Valley, and they wouldn't have been scared into
And
defensive submission.
They would have beaten Valparaiso had they found a way to get a few more defensive stops.
Still just want to win. Yeah.
So I don't think it is a big deal right now.
Yeah. I call it a big deal, though, because I'm thinking about what it could mean later.
Number 5.
Big deal, no deal. The second most productive athlete on campus from Eagle, Idaho.
First!
Tanner Mangum will start at quarterback in the Poinsettia Bowl.
Braden Shaw is number 1 in the Eagle Idaho power rankings.
In the what have you done for me lately Eagle Idaho power rankings?
This is a big deal. Tanner Mangum has started 1 bowl game. It was last year, Vegas Bowl. BYU went down 35-0. That was crazy. Led 28 points back. I think that experience will be valuable for him because he's not coming in wide-eyed. Can you imagine if, say, Bo Hodge was the starter? It'd be very different, right?
Bo Hodge.
That guy, yeah, exactly. So I go big deal because I think Tanner Mangum will be ready, and he has the whole month to get ready.
He's going to take all of the practice snaps, the repetitions. He's got 20, I think, 20 days away from the actual bowl game?
3 weeks from yesterday.
How about that? December 21st. Get your tickets, BYUtickets.com right now for the Poinsettia Bowl between BYU and either, we think, San Diego State or Wyoming. I think this is a big deal because this is right now the most important game of the season. BYU wants to get to 9-4, and he'll have Jamal Williams behind him to take pressure off of what he has to do.
But he's number 2 in the Eagle Idaho power rankings right now.
He had 472 quarterback rating on Saturday.